Confucius. You've definitely heard the name. But figuring out why this one man, born over 2,500 years ago, is still so important to, well, half the world. That's what we're getting into today.
Yeah, we're looking at the philosophy he built to bring some kind of order, some peace to a really chaotic time.
And it's so important to set the stage for this. We're talking 551 BC in what's now Eastern China.
Exactly. It's what historians call the Warring States period, and that name is no joke. Life was rough. You had all these local states just constantly fighting.
And the leaders.
Often cruel, totally self-interested. I mean, ordinary people were just suffering under, unfair taxes and really harsh rules.
And Confucius, he wasn't born with a silver spoon. His family had noble roots, sure, but they were poor. He knew what that suffering looked like up close.
He really did. He had to work from a young age, these minor government jobs like managing grain storage, looking after livestock.
Not exactly glamorous.
Not at all. But it gave him this street-level view of how things worked, or rather, how they didn't work. He saw the corruption and realized the problem wasn't the system itself.
It was the people running it.
It was the moral character of the people. So his big idea wasn't some new set of laws, it was much more fundamental.
If you want a better society, you have to start by making better people.
And that meant one thing: education.
This is where he gets pretty radical for his time, right?
Totally. Because Confucius didn't think knowledge was just for the rich. He became this traveling teacher, and he took students from all social classes. If you were poor but you genuinely wanted to learn, his door was open.
So let's unpack that, his focus on learning. Because for him, this was the main tool for fixing everything. And it wasn't about getting a job.
No, it was character training. He taught that wisdom isn't something that just hits you one day. It's the result of constant, dedicated study and deep personal reflection. You never really graduate.
You stop learning, you stop growing as a person.
As a moral person, specifically.
So what were they studying? It wasn't like math and science.
No, not as we think of them. They focused intensely on ancient traditions, on history, and on poetry.
Why those subjects?
Because for him, history and poetry were the textbooks on virtue. He wanted his students reading about wise rulers and ethical people from the past so they could see how it's done.
So they were trying to reconstruct a sort of golden age of morality that had been lost.
That's a perfect way to put it. And the deeper purpose here, beyond just memorizing things, was to build a strong moral character, a sense of duty. He was basically trying to educate a whole new class of leaders who would rule with kindness and intelligence.
Not just with force.
Exactly. And that ambition, it brings us right to the cornerstone of his whole philosophy, a concept called Ren.
Ren, R-E-N. It gets translated as what? Humaneness? Benevolence?
It does, but those words feel a little flat in English. They don't quite get the practical side of it.
So break it down for us.
Okay, think of Ren as universal empathy that you actually put into action. It's the quality that makes a person truly excellent morally. It means showing genuine, real care for every single person you interact with.
From your family to a total stranger.
Everyone. It's that instinct to be kind, but applied universally.
And what's so interesting is that he didn't see Ren as something you were just born with.
Yeah.
It's a skill. You have to work at it.
A lifelong project. And it requires a ton of effort, and this is the key, selflessness. To practice Ren, you have to consciously put the needs of your community, or just the person in front of you, ahead of your own desires.
So if Ren is the big idea, the mindset, how do you actually do it every day?
Well, that's where he gives this very simple, very practical guide, the one we all still know today as the Golden Rule.
Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself.
He basically boiled the entire practice of Ren down into that one sentence.
It's so simple, but if you actually think about it, I mean, if everyone followed it, it would change everything. It's a formula for fairness. It stops you from causing pain and just reduces conflict across the board.
And for Confucius, the place where you first learn to practice this, the starting point for this whole moral system, wasn't in a government office or a temple.
It was in the home.
It was the family. He believed a stable society had to be built on stable families.
He saw the family as a kind of miniature nation, a blueprint. If the family is harmonious, the country will be harmonious.
And the virtue that holds the family together is something called filial piety.
Which is way more than just be nice to your parents.
Oh, way more. It's this deep respect, this devotion and a lifetime commitment to your parents and your elders.
So what does that look like?
It starts with obedience when you're young, for sure. But it's a two-way street that lasts your whole life. You're expected to care for your parents when they get old, but here's the really crucial part. He saw that parent-child relationship as the template for all of society.
The template. How so?
Because the parent provides care and sets the moral example, and the child responds with loyalty and respect. If you learn how to be a good son or daughter at home, you'll naturally know how to be a good citizen in the state. The loyalty you show your father is the same kind of loyalty you should show your ruler.
And this respect didn't stop when someone died, right?
Yeah.
Honoring ancestors was a huge deal.
A huge deal. And it wasn't just superstition, it was a practical way to teach values. It taught children about history, about belonging to this long family line, and it reminded them that the virtues of their ancestors, like Ren, had to be carried into the future. It's a way to preserve morality.
Okay, so once you have these respectful, educated individuals, how do they all interact in public?
That's where he defines a very clear social roadmap. He calls it the 5 key relationships.
Right. These are the absolute bedrock of social order. You have ruler and subject,
Father and son, husband and wife.
elder brother and younger brother, and then friend and friend.
And in 4 of those 5, there's a really clear hierarchy. The superior person in the relationship, the ruler, the father, has a duty to provide care and guidance.
And the junior person, the subject, the son, has a duty to show respect and loyalty. It makes everything predictable.
But, and this is a big but it's based on mutual duties, if the ruler is a tyrant, if he's greedy and fails to care for the people, that bond is broken. The moral burden is on the leader.
So loyalty has to be earned. It's not automatic. What about that 5th relationship, friend and friend?
That's the one exception. The relationship between friends is equal, and the most important thing there is mutual trust.
And all these relationships, they weren't just ideas. They were expressed through actions, which gets us to another core concept, lie rituals.
You can think of lie as the social scripts for everyday life. It covers everything from big state ceremonies to, just how you greet your neighbor.
They sound kind of trivial compared to a big idea like Ren. Why are these little rules so important?
Because Confucius believed they disciplined the mind. When you perform these rituals correctly, you're constantly refining your character and reminding yourself of your social duties. Like it creates order, predictability.
It's like social etiquette on a grand scale. If a society forgets its rituals, its manners, it just descends into chaos.
And if you follow all this, if you dedicate yourself to education, to virtue, to ritual, the ultimate goal is to become a junzi.
The junzi, the superior person. Now, that sounds like a title you're born with, but that's exactly what Confucius was arguing against, isn't it?
Absolutely. This was revolutionary. He taught that anyone, even a poor farmer's son, could become a junzi through hard work and developing their moral character. It's about merit, not your family tree.
So what does this superior person act like?
They're calm, they're fair, they're motivated by duty and virtue, not by getting rich or powerful. They lead by setting an incredible moral example that just inspires everyone else to be better.
So if you have a government run by these junzis, what does that look like? Because it really goes against the idea that you need harsh laws and force to keep people in line.
He thought a country should be governed by moral example, not fear. His logic was simple. If the ruler is honest and kind, the people will want to be like that too. They'll follow that lead.
He said a good ruler treats his subjects like a father treats his children, with both love and firmness.
And she had practical ideas too. He said taxes must be kept low so families can actually live. And, critically, government officials should be chosen based on their merit and ability, their moral character, not because of who their dad is.
That idea of a meritocracy is still something we talk about constantly today.
For him, it was the key, the only way to replace chaos with stability and respect.
And the incredible thing is, we know all of this because of his students, right? Confucius didn't actually write his big ideas down himself.
That's right. After he died, his students collected all his little sayings, his conversations, his lessons, and compiled them into the book we know as the Analects.
And the legacy of that book is just immense.
Oh, it's hard to overstate. For centuries in China, if you wanted a government job, you had to pass these intense exams, and that meant you had to have the Analects memorized. His philosophy literally shaped the mind of the ruling class for 2,000 years.
And his ideas spread all across East Asia.
To Korea, Japan, Vietnam, even today, his focus on education, on social harmony, on respecting your elders, that still shapes the core values for millions and millions of people.
So really, what Confucius showed us is that creating a peaceful world isn't about grand political theories or a powerful army. It all comes down to the quality of the individual. The state of the nation is just a reflection of the character of its people.
It really leaves you with a powerful question for today, If the only thing holding our society together is law and punishment, and we lose that fundamental selfless respect for each other, that active Ren, how stable are we really?
Something to think about. See you next time.